Hi Amanda. Okay, so here's your past life spread, and I'm just going to start off by telling you how we're going to read this. So first we look at where we are, what you did for the majority of your time, an important day, another important day, the death, and the lesson learned. And we'll get hints of time throughout. So what I do want to say is that this is a really unusual thing that pops up because what I'm getting is that it's being relayed to me as like an animal form, like we're looking at animal form, and then so I'm feeling like, I've had an animal life come up with it, but someone had asked for an animal life. So without you asking for it, and I'm feeling like this is an animal life, it's also feeling like it's tied with Native American or indigenous people who are linked to this kind of animal. Okay? So bear with me because, sometimes things are new to me too. And I'm just gonna go with it because that's what you do. that's what's being shown to me, so I'm just gonna relay to you what I'm seeing here and what's feeling like. So right away, I feel like we're looking at something that is more aquatic than not, but with either capabilities of being on land or having at one time been on land. So we're looking at either like a water mammal or an animal that lives in the water for a lot of the time, but they also they sleep out of the water, if that makes sense, okay? So just keep that in mind. Your job is going to be to make connections where you can from for what we're hearing here to your current life. I'll try to help in whatever way I can. And all I'm doing is relaying images and impressions to you. All right, so we'll start here. This is the nomad card. It means like traveling from place to place, like very mobile, not really having like a one home base kind of thing, or it indicates a place that no longer exists anymore to our knowledge, like the name isn't there or the place isn't there. So this feels very much like a mobile life. And I feel like as far as gender goes, I feel like it doesn't even matter, but I feel like we're looking at a more of a masculine energy than anything, but I feel like it's actually overall very balanced in that regard. And I feel like we're looking, okay, so I said aquatic because I feel like we're looking at a group that travels with certain seasons or climates or whatever it is. Like they have how like butterflies have a thing where they gosh, what's the darn word? When animals go to one place during the season, oh my gosh, this is terrible. But anyway, it's when the animals move around for the seasons, and I'm sure you know the word, but no, it's gonna bother me. But yeah, so I'm looking at a place that's like there's lots of water, and I feel like one of the places would be around the Hawaiian area, and I almost feel like we're looking either at something like, we're either looking at like dolphins, whales, or we're looking at people who move around a lot and associate themselves with these creatures, either dolphins, whales, or something like sea lions or otters, like those creatures that can come out of the water but still be in the water, that kind of thing. So please feel free to Google and see if there's any indigenous people or native tribes or whatever linked to those animals specifically, like as their spirit animal, whatever it is, because I feel like that's what's coming through if we're not looking at purely animal life. And so in your current life, how you can connect with that is simply, one, do you connect with aquatic animals of any kind, dolphins, whales, otters, sea lions, whatever it is, or do you connect with water? Are you fond of water? Is that your happy place? Is the beach your happy place? Do you feel comfortable in water? Do you like water, what's it called? Water, type of decor, or you know what I mean? Like, is your bathroom decked out like the ocean? Like, that kind of thing is how you can make little connections. So we're looking at what you did with the majority of your life. And this card is the slavery card, but it doesn't always mean like slavery in the conventional sense of slavery, if there is a conventional sense. And what we're looking at is a creature who is a slave to their environment. A slave to the life they were born into, and that's also very indicative of these animals because it's a very like instinctually based living that I feel like we're looking at, where it's just like how, you know, how animals travel in groups, how birds fly and they automatically go into that V unit. Everyone has their place and their role in the group. I feel like that's what we're looking at here, is everyone has their place and their role. So in your current life, you could feel like you are a, I hate the word victim, but like, you know, you're subjected to your environment to behave in a certain way. And you might be wanting to transition out of that. Maybe you're a people pleaser. Maybe you're someone that is just used to doing what they're told, or they're used to having or playing a certain role, whether it's in their family unit or in a group of friends, you know, like you just might be coming to a point where where you're realizing, I'm sick of playing this role and I want to start kind of living for me more. And I feel like that might be why this is coming up, because also animals are so instinctual, and it's almost like, yeah, we have our instincts, but intuition is not always instincts. There's kind of a fine line between that, and it's almost like you may be in the transition from going into an instinctually based existence where you do play a role and you do what you're told, to an existence where it's more intuitive based, where you're listening to yourself and what's good for you. So keep that in mind if that speaks to you. So we're going to the first important day, and here we have the Wowzer card. Wow, it means usually like there's an experience that occurs that makes the soul expand in some way. And what we're seeing here is the friendship card. And the feeling associated is happy. So it's really cool because I feel like what's happening is that, okay, so there's a theory that animal souls can grow, and animal souls develop and evolve and can even transition eventually into more evolved beings like humans. So with that theory in mind, I feel like we're seeing this day because I feel like as a group, your pod, I want to say pod, I feel like we're looking at aquatic creatures here, but your group, your pod, whatever, you are a small group that's part of a much larger community. And I feel like your small group on this day all together witnessed something or experienced something that kind of, it was like a huge like shake, like a big shake of your consciousness, and it kind of shook you out of the huge herd mentality of the group that you're in. So let's say that there's a huge family of whales, and you hang out in this little pod with your friends who are your peers, and because you're playing with your friends over here, you see something that's happening all the way over here, and the rest of the community is not witnessing that. So only you guys get to see it, and because of what you guys have witnessed, you all break out of the herd mentality of that collective consciousness, and you kind of evolve a bit more and become more evolved, more like consciously aware of yourself and of certain things. And I'm just trying to see what it is that they want to show me what it is. But I feel like that in itself is the important part, is almost like for you to recognize that you might be used to being with certain people your whole life, and it can be your family. A lot of times it is your family, but it could also be lifelong friends, whatever, people you've grown with over time. And you find that the time comes when you witness or go through something that elevates your thinking or consciousness in such a way that those other people now, they really can't relate to you on the same level. And we're finding a lot of that happening when people are shifting energetically upwards to higher vibrations. They're finding they no longer get along, or they're butting heads with people from their past or people that they've known their whole lives who have not energetically shifted with them. It's kind of like in a relationship, you have to grow together. It's kind of like that. Except in this way, it's more of like a thought pattern growth. So I feel like you experience this amazing thing that's happening with certain people, and it's an incredible feeling, but it really can't be shared with everyone. So that might be a message to you currently, to find your tribe. If you've heard that phrasing before, find your tribe, It's about finding the people who can understand you on an energetic soul level, because those are the people you want to be around that are going to help you grow even more. And growing is what you want to do, even if it means leaving people behind. It's not really leaving people, it just feels like you're leaving people behind, but they're on their own journey and they're not energetically matching with you anymore. So you have to be with the people who are matching with you to continue on your path, rather than hanging on to the past or hanging on to people who actually might try to even guilt you into staying the same that you were before because it's comfortable for them, right? So that's not what you want to do though, because this is about your life and you growing and being comfortable for you. And you honestly, if this is the case, if it's speaking to you where you are leaving people, you're separating from people, and maybe you're even squabbling with people because they don't understand you or whatever it is, if you do continue on your path and follow your heart and soul in this way, it might feel like they might make you feel, or you might feel like you're disappointing them or leaving them behind, but you're not, because the separation itself might be a lesson for them. So it's almost like if following your path is actually helping them with a lesson that they need to learn. It's, people don't realize that's how they affect people. It's all good, it's all positive. It just sometimes can not feel positive at a basic human level, but on a soul and an energetic level, this is the right thing to do. So if that speaks to you, then I would just say please keep going and make those new friends where you need to, the ones that understand you. Don't be afraid to let others go. It doesn't have to be a big fight and separation. It could just simply be less time spent with people who energetically bring you down or don't understand you. All right? So let's go to the next important day, and we're seeing a trauma, and we're seeing soulmates, there, and a feeling of being content. And I'm trying to see what we are going through here. What is happening? Okay, I feel like what we're seeing is we're seeing one of your mates, and soulmate does not always mean romantic. I feel like we're seeing one of your mates, the ones that you were off with and experienced something with. I feel like something happens to them where it injures them and handicaps them in a way that's for life. I feel like we're seeing something, and I feel like it's an external presence that is handicapping them, if that makes sense. So almost like the scenario I'm getting is like, it's like, there's people who are trying to fish or spear you guys or whatever. If you are an animal, there's people who are trying to like kill you or whatever it is. And I feel like one of your mates, your friends, gets injured in such a way that it's almost like one of their fins kind of doesn't work anymore, or something essential to their, going on in a normal way. It gets hurt. And I feel like it gets injured. So I feel like you are witnessing an injury of someone close to you. And I feel like we're getting this content feeling because I feel like why this is being shown is the whole feeling of moving along, keep moving, keep going. Dory, keep on swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. That's what's coming to mind. It's literally that's what's coming to mind, is because I feel like you see this person just keep swimming. There's no giving up. And I feel like that's speaking to you, that no matter what comes your way, if you're going through something, if you're going through a hard time and things are just like one thing after the other just keeps like kind of hitting you, it's almost like an encouragement to keep moving, like just keep on swimming, like keep on going one step in front of the other, one step at a time. Don't look, down the road so far. Don't look back. Focus on the present moment and what you're capable of doing in the present moment, because that's all you can do. Because worrying about the future or the past, what are you doing? All you're doing is worrying. You can't take action against it or for it. All you can do is focus on the present moment. So I feel like we're seeing this content card come up because you're witnessing, but also part of this friend of yours, this mate, keep on going, rolling right along through the injury. This thing is happening. It's altered. This creature has been altered permanently, and yet what it does is keeps on swimming, goes and finds food to keep eating and plays with his friends just as always. It's just the only thing that's different is he has a gimpy fin, right? So I also feel like that speaks on another level to you as far as back here with your friends finding your tribe, because no matter what is wrong with you, nothing's wrong with you. We consider things flaws that aren't flaws, but whatever you feel is a flaw in yourself, whether it's physical or emotional or mental, you are going to find people that completely understand you and accept you the way you are and won't want to change you. They're out there, I promise. And I feel like this whole thing is being shown to you because there's this whole feel of a community, of a group, of a whole group growing. You're growing, and everybody, no matter what happens, they keep moving along on that beautiful circle of life, baby. They just keep going. And I feel like that's just something that needs to be shown to you for a reason. And if that's the reason, it would be to just keep moving along. Keep moving along with the people that understand you the most, because you stayed with these people, these animals. Like, you remained close friends after this. You were the closest after this, because usually experiences bond people. So you're going to find that if you take the steps towards doing what you want to do for yourself, let's say it's even going to a workshop or a class or a group or anything. If you take a step towards something that you want, you're going to meet people that want the same things and understand you because they're probably similar to you. And I feel like that's what this is being shown for, is no matter what people might say from your past, it's important for you to just focus on your present and what you want presently and how you feel presently, and take your actions going from that present moment that you're feeling inside yourself. And I feel like that is the message coming through from here. So we're looking at a death here now. It's interesting because this is the natural death, but it's also kind of a river, right? So we're back in the water again. And I just feel like we are looking at this person or creature who just passes very peacefully and very happily. There's almost like if it was an animal, it would have a smile on its face. If it's a person, it definitely has a smile on their face. And again, I feel like, even, I'm not sure, just see what connects with you, if this is an animal or a indigenous kind of life. I just feel like there's an interweaving of it. But yeah, the death is natural. And here we have the lesson, which is dream big. And it's really funny because we're looking at a life here where you really can't dream big or dream at all, because your life is all wrapped up in the rest of the family or community. And so there's this obligation feeling. And even though there's this obligation feeling, we're getting these messages coming through of not to feel obligated. Even though you're in an environment and an atmosphere with certain people that expect certain things, you still, even here, are able to evolve, grow, and change. And also the messages are to continue evolving, growing, and changing, and even to step outside of your comfort zone and get away from people who hold you back and move towards the people that encourage you and make you feel good about yourself. And I feel like we're at a time now in your current life, in history here, that you can actually now dream big. I feel like this is coming up for you in your current life, where it's more than just about going with the flow, but also having moments. It's more about just having moments now in your current life. Now it's about taking your whole life and living it for you and not having to feel obligated or a duty to remain with the herd, because you're in a time in your life where you're able to go off by yourself and find the right ones who are meant for you. We're not in a time where we have to be we have to stay home with our folks till we get married and they tell us who to marry and then we move in with her. There aren't those rules and regulations anymore. I mean, unless you allow them to take over your life. But we're in such a free and independent time in history where it's time to dream big, break out of the herd, go after what you want individually, and you will attract those people to you and find your family. You will find your soul family in that way. So I feel like that's the big message, is no matter what, just keep swimming, and you don't have to just live this a mundane existence with boundaries set up by others, you can break free of any boundaries and go after what you want. You just have to stop caring about the past and people from your past. You need to just really just look at the present moment and move forward, and everything will fall into place and the right people will be a part of your life if you do that. All right? So, I hope you enjoyed your reading. I hope you were able to make connections, and thanks for letting me read you.